Hey guys, it's Janie. Welcome back to the Bookworms Buddy. It's time for my December wrap up and my January TBR. Happy New Year's, everybody, and I hope everybody has a very prosperous new year. So, you guys know that my great list, the books that I had left on my great list, was going to be my December TBR. I had Shadow and Bone, See Me by Nicholas Sparks. I also had the Pine Deep trilogy by Jonathan Mayberry, and then I had The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. Those were the last ones that I was going to read for December. That was going to be my TBR for the month. And then I had Roots left on the Great List, which I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish that one for the end of this year because I just waited too long to get into the book. I do still want to read Roots, and I plan on taking some point of this year to get that book read. But anyway, let's get back to my December wrap-up. I did manage to read See Me by Nicholas Sparks, which was also another challenge. I said I wanted to read something by Nicholas Sparks by the end of the year because I've got a ton of his books and I've never picked them up. I really, really enjoyed this book. He is a great contemporary writer, and this one was really great. Loved the characters, loved the flow of the story. I thought it was great. He's got a great talent. So now I will be able to read more books by Nicholas Sparks, knowing that I like his writing style, I like the flow of his books, and this one was a great choice, a great one to start with. It was a pretty big book, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really written well. So there's that one, See Me by Nicholas Sparks. The next one, also on my great list, was The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I've been wanting to read this book, this trilogy, for a really long time because I've had the books for a little while. And I have to say I wasn't disappointed with the story. I thought the plot was great. The characters are awesome. The one thing that really annoyed me about this was the fact that the chapter starts and didn't have a name for the perspective. And when you have this kind of a story where you got several people telling the story, you really kind of need the names there because you're like, okay, who am I reading about right now? Eventually, as you read through the chapter, you discover who it was, but wouldn't it just be easier to know from the very beginning whose perspective we were in? That was really annoying to me. That knocked a star off. It would have been a 5-star read, I believe, for me, but I rated it 4 stars. I love alien stories, and this one was pretty good until I get further into it, and it was started to be a little confusing for me. Anyway, so yeah, there's The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. 4-star, great story, great characters, but I did not go into the Pine Deep trilogy that I wanted to finish up December with. I went to The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. The way I was figuring it was I was going to read The Fifth Wave, and then if I didn't get to the next book, then I would forget what I was reading. I'd have to go back and do Fifth Wave again, and I didn't want to do that. So I continued the story. Infinite Sea, also 4-star read. Also still annoying because there's no names to start the chapters. So I'd have to second guess or wait till I got a clue as to who was telling the story at the time. Still very strong characters. I still enjoyed the characters. You get a couple new characters in this one from the first one. So the books flow well. They're very engaging. And it starts to get a little confusing for me. I'm not going to tell. From an alien outlook, it was confusing to me because I wasn't sure. Are they really aliens? So that's where it got confusing for me. But the story is still very good. And I went and read The Last Star, which is the final book in the Fifth Wave trilogy. Again, very strong character still. Again, another 4-star read. Did not really enjoy the ending of this. I thought we lost something great, and I felt like it wasn't completed. It should have probably been a 3-star rating, but because of the characters, it stayed at a 4. And if you've already read it, you probably understand what I'm saying about being confused, because I just don't want to say it and give it away for somebody who wants to read this trilogy. But if you've read it, you probably understand what I'm talking about. about it being confusing or incomplete or not quite understanding some of it, but it is worth the read. I'm not sure that I would read this again, but it was enjoyable. As I read it, I did find it to be very engaging. The flow is really well. The characters are great. So just that part of it is, you should read it. It's easily recommendable because of that. And that was the last book that I read for December. So we got 4 of them read. Only 2 of them were on the great list to finish up. Like I said, I did not get into the Pine Deep trilogy. And I love Jonathan Mayberry. And I had started the first book after I finished The Last Star. But I just didn't have the time, to sit down and read and get it done. So, yeah, those were the 4 that I read for the month of December. All 4 of them were great reads. I'm very satisfied with what I accomplished for the month of December, especially with the holidays being there and, all of that. So, now I am going to get into my January TBR. So, here we go. So I've got kind of a big TBR, but I think most of the stories are going to be relatively easy to read, so I should be able to get them all read. I got 6 here that I've chosen for the month. You guys also know January is the month that we start all of our challenges, so I'm trying to get really good choices for my A through Z challenge, for TBR challenge, for blind author challenges. All that is linked. My Goodreads group is linked below if you guys want to come and join the group and work and try out some of these challenges because they're really, really fun. So let's get into the January TBR. We are starting with Ghost Road Blues by Jonathan Mayberry. I'm almost halfway through the story. You guys know I love Jonathan Mayberry. But I gotta say, this book really started off kind of slow for me, which is why I've not finished it yet. This is the first book to the Pine Deep trilogy. I'm not sure that I'm going to read the other 2 right now with this one. I guess it depends on, how much it picks up and how, engaging the story is. It is getting better now, and I'm starting to see what the gist of the story is, because you don't get a whole lot of information on that, but there's a lot of build-up, I think. And I don't find that Jonathan Mayberry is the kind of person that has a lot of build-up, but this one just seems a little off-kilter to me, and like there is a lot of build-up for it. So I'm going to finish this one, and we'll see what happens with the other 2. We'll see how this one wraps up and moves on into the second one. But yeah, there's that one, Ghost Road Blues by Jonathan Mayberry, the first book to the Pine Deep trilogy. The next book I chose was A is for Alibi by Sue Grafton. A couple people in my Goodreads group had recommended this series because it's really good. It's a mystery, and I don't know, it seems like it's going to be a really easy read for me, and you guys know I love mystery, and if I can read 1 or 2 of these each month, it's great for the A through Z challenge, right? So we'll see what happens with this. I'm hoping that I will like it. This is a Kinsey Millhone. Kinsey Millhone is the name of the series. So I always just call it the alphabet series. But yeah, so there's that one. A is for Alibi by Sue Grafton. The next one I chose is Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer, Off the Page. Now, years ago, a few years back, I read Between the Lines, and I really, really liked the story. Samantha Van Leer is Jodi Picoult's daughter, and it's just kind of a little, like a fairy tale story, and I got this one probably a year or 2 ago, and I've never read it, and then, like I said, Between the Lines, it was several years ago, so it's time now for me to continue with this. I think it is this is actually a companion. It's a companion to Between the Lines. But I want to read it, and I think it's going to be really good. and I'm going to really enjoy it. So the one thing I really like about this is it's got different color text, I think, for each character. So there's some blue, green, purple, and I think it goes for different characters. So I'm really looking forward to reading that one. The next one I picked here is Scribbler of Dreams by Mary E. Pearson. Another pretty easy to read book. And I wanted to read something by Mary E. Pearson because I haven't yet. I know she has other books, Kiss of Deception, that people have really talked about. But I decided to pick this one up for something a little easier to read for this month. The next one I picked is The Northern Child. This is by Edith Petto. I love this cover, and it's cushy. I love it. And I just kind of perused my shelves and saw it and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to read this one. This is a fantasy. This book used to be called East, but it's called North Child now. It is the first book in the series, East series. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that one. 5 books that I've chosen to read for this month. And I'm hoping that I can get through all of these. And of course, if I can squeeze anything else in, I will. But that is it, guys. If you read any of these books that I have showed you today, let me know and we will talk about it. Of course, all of my reviews that I have of these books that I've read, you can find on my blog or on Goodreads. All that is below. Thanks, guys, for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.